this is how to swap the motor and install the planetary gears in your motor forward setup transmission. Most of the planetary gear setups will be the same. Planetary gear is a planetary gear. Means there's a planet in the middle with other planets moving around it. Planetary. Self-explanatory. Alright, so for this exact application I need to take the servo mount bolts out of the servo mount here to move the servo mount in order to get the motor out where there's enough space, okay? So you take your 2 bolts on each side out there, I've already done that. Slide your servo mount ahead a bit, okay? And this might be the first time you ever saw a heat sink on a servo. It's just there for a body spacer. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take your top mount bolts. There's a bolt there and one up through the bottom in the same place. Okay, you're going to take those out, and then that is going to allow you to slide the motor with the planetary gear set up on it, so be careful you don't drop anything, okay? So you're going to pull the whole thing out of there, okay? There you have it, alright? But how do you get the motor off that? Alright? So once you get it out, okay, 2 of the screws mount this to the case of the tranny. The other 2 screws just mount this to this. So once you take out these screws, it's going to be hard with one hand here, you can lift this up, okay? But these gears are going to move, right? So you're going to have to put them back in place when you get this off. Alright, you see how that, if I push it back down, how that spins? Right? Well, this end wouldn't spin. The center would spin, this side would stay stationary, right? So the motor would spin and this would stay stationary. Alright, so I'm going to pull those off. Okay, so when you get that case off, it's going to look like this, alright? And you're just going to pull these off. Take all them off. I'm going to inspect here, see if there's any difference. So they look the same on both sides, so I'm just going to use one hand here and knock them off. Alright, you shouldn't do this, but I'm pretty confident I can get it back together. Okay, so now there's my motor mount bolts right there and there. I'm going to take them out, and that will get my motor out of there. Looks like there's enough room. You're not going to have to take the pinion off. It should come right through that hole. Okay, so you're just going to take those screws out, right? I've already got one out. You know, there's the other one going out. Go ahead and stick this guy on top, you see that? Once you got your motor mount screws in. Everybody keep note of where the screws go, okay? The screws that hold your planetary ring to the housing here of the engine, to the engine mount, they're smaller than the ones that hold the planetary ring to the housing, okay? So just keep in mind when you're putting your screws places that you know where they're going to go back, and if you don't, if you're a person that can't remember and needs to mark them, mark them. Okay, so when it's time to put your planetary gears back in, you can go ahead and take your pliers and you can pull the inlet out. Okay, it just pulls off that shaft there in the middle. See that? Okay, so pull it out. There's no screws to hold this on, so I'll just press. Okay, and then this, okay, it's gonna fit inside those holes. See those 3 pins? They're gonna fit inside your gears here. So a real important thing is, remember I said about when I was looking at the gears when I was taking them out to make sure they were the same? Because if they would have had a pitch on these gears, you'd have to make sure the pitch was right on each. Okay? And I don't see a pitch. It's very slight if there is. There's no markings. I think we're alright. spins free and doesn't bind, that's the main thing. So line your holes up, put the 2 in, and the other 2 is what mounts it to the case, remember? So you're going to put 2 in now, which is going to hold the planetary gear ring to the housing. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put your gears on your access piece here first, okay? And that way they're lined up. And then you're going to take that whole piece, you're going to turn it upside down, and you're going to set it right in here back where it goes. Okay? It would look like that when you get it back in. You just have to wiggle it a bit to get your gear meshed in, right? Each gear is going to have to mesh as it's going in your planetary ring. Then you're going to shove that right back in with that spline. There, lined right up. Now when I spin this motor now touching, I can see my axis moving a bit. So I know it's lined up. Okay. Now I'm going to line that hole up there. You see how it wasn't, now it is. Okay. Then the screws that go in there go back in there. And note too, on this, the top one is a 2 mil and the bottom bolt is a 2.5 mil hex. Okay, there's that one. Now I'm going to put the other one in on the bottom off camera because it's hard to do. Put it right up, right there. Okay, it's kind of hard to get at, but we'll get her. Okay, I'm just putting the servo mount back in here. There, my autofocus was turned off. That's a lot better, guys. Sorry about that for this video. That's a lot better, isn't it? So I'm gonna go ahead and put the other one here, here, and here, okay? There's the screws right there. Alright. Here's the kit I use, guys. It's very simple, very easy, and this is what I use most of my work on, my RCs. You know, you have basically something that looks like this. I mean, a few other things, but that's basically it. Hook your electrical up, obviously. That's in another video of mine. I'm sure you guys can figure it out from there. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I hope to help somebody. Take care, everybody.